All right, a lot of your teammates talk about how smart you are, and they're pretty high on your capability. If you need to step in at center, how are you feeling about the competition and stepping in if your number's called?
Yeah, I feel very ready. I think I did a lot of preparation over the last year and really this offseason, working with AQ. Spent my time out there with him, and I focused a ton on everything that I would need to be ready for whatever the opportunity may be. So I'm very comfortable and prepared and ready.
Was part of that preparation, you got a guy that's gone down now in front of you and Ryan Jensen. You able to watch him execute this offense at that position? How much has that been part of your preparation?
Yeah, I mean, like last year, watching Ryan kind of like me transitioning from tackle to center last year was a big difference. But having a guy like him in front of me, being able to learn from him, being able to learn from AQ and the coaching and Goody helping me, like I had so many resources to where it was a lot coming at me at first, but as I started to get it, it really slowed down and made things feel good. So being able to learn from Ryan and watch the way he plays the game has helped me a great deal over the last year. Kind of figure out who I am as a center because that was new to me when I first got here. So that's been a great tool to have and a great mentor to have.
To Arizona and spent a lot of time with AQ. What was that work like? What did you that's a big commitment away from family and
Yeah.
friends and all that.
Yeah, I mean, at kind of the end of the season, he was like, he kind of knew where he was headed, where his head was, and I kind of was wondering what I was doing, and asked if I wanted to come train with him. And I was like, yeah. I mean, we were doing a ton of work together during the season. I was bugging him all the time to watch film or do whatever I felt like I needed to work on. He's like, you want to come train? I'll train you. So he's got a great setup at his permanent house out there. He's got a great gym where we'd work out together, and then we'd go over to either like a high school or a park, and we'd do football. And it was just me and him 5 days a week hanging out. He's got his family out there. He'd have me over for dinner, that kind of stuff. But the work was outstanding, and he's incredibly knowledgeable about football. He's incredibly knowledgeable about strength and conditioning, which a lot of people probably don't know. But he had a plan every single day for me, and really, really every day we would come in, there was something new he wanted to work on. There's something, a weakness of mine that he wanted to correct. So that's kind of the type of guy he is. He does everything 100%. And it was an outstanding experience for me to be out there with him.
You did 2 different 4-week stints out there, is that right?
Yeah, right. Like in the spring and then this last summer. So like that out there, came back for OTA's minicamp, out there again, back now.
More than a year now, kind of in this transition. Do you think of yourself as a center? Do you wake up feeling like a center now? Is that
Yeah.
who you are?
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny, like people told me that in college too, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I don't know, but definitely some of my coaches in college saw that they thought that this would be that'd be a fit for me in the future, no matter what. And I do feel like that. I enjoy being able to be out there and see everything and direct traffic a little bit, so I enjoy it.
What's been the biggest difference between last year's training camp and this year for you?
Year 1 to year 2. I mean, it's completely different. Like I'm just more comfortable, more relaxed. Things are much slower. You're not swimming out there trying to figure out where to go, what everything's doing, and then your days in between meetings, you can kind of relax and sit back, think about how you did, and fix it. First year you're thrown in it and you're rolling, so it's a lot going on, but much more relaxed, much more comfortable this year.
Robert, one of those techniques that you learned from Ryan is the rather elaborate process of the towel in the back, and just talk about how involved that is and how important it is.
It's the most important thing I do on a day-to-day basis. Like, I mean, you guys see me out there. How often am I changing that thing? 6 times. So, yeah, I have to do it, and it is it is what it is. It's whatever he wants. So you make it happen.
And that was a request from Tom when he first spoke to Ryan about that's the way you do it.
Yeah, I guess he did it in New England. He does it here. I got here, and I remember AQ was like, "Here's how you do it," and that was that. And so I adapted and learned how to do it my best. So things are good there.
Robert, you never want to see anyone get hurt in this game, but it is part of the game. And Ryan is such a big part of this team, right? So there's mixed emotions, but it always is that the train keeps moving, right?
Absolutely.
So how hard was it for you, first of all, to watch that, and then also know that, hey, I've got to keep this thing going, right? Like it's a big, somebody, whether it's you or someone else, has to fill that role.
Yeah, I mean, that's just things like that happen, and everyone will say, that's the worst part about football, and it just sucks to see that happen to a guy I love and a teammate of mine who I care about so much, a guy who gives everything he has to this and to us, to that locker room. So, and that's just, it is how it goes. But I mean, I've had an injury like that too, and I know how he feels. It's not fun. So just making sure I'm there. I want to be there for him and everything. I know he's going to be there for me, and I know he's going to help me and Nick and everyone else, and he's going to bring us along, because whoever's in there can't be any drop off, and that's where it's got to be, and that's a top 1, top 2 center in the NFL. So big shoes to fill, but an opportunity nonetheless to where someone has to step up and do that.
What's the greatest lesson that you've taken from being behind Ryan?
The way Ryan approaches every day and every game is with a mentality that he's the baddest dude on the field, and he usually is. And being that guy, you see it throughout the games, and I know you guys like to talk about it, but in the locker room and in locker rooms across the NFL, I think that means something, and that carries a certain level of respect. He's that guy that's not going to let you get away with anything. Don't stand around a pile waiting while he's there. And so I'm not Ryan Jensen, and that's not who I'm trying to be. I have to be myself. But that chip on the shoulder that he plays with, if I'm out there, I think I want to have a little bit of that myself, because I owe that to him, and whoever's out there owes that to him, to continue that presence of the type of man, the type of player he is on the field.
How intimidating is it if it is, stepping into potentially the guy that has to be in front of Tom, right? He's so much of a center. You spoke to a little bit of that already, right? He's demanding.
Yeah, not the adjective I'd use. I wouldn't call it intimidating. Maybe like first week last year a little bit. Like I said, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'm excited for the opportunity and to do whatever I have to do to help the Buccaneers be the best team that we can be. Yeah.
You talk about changing positions and getting used to center, but physically, how much stronger are you than you were combine or a year ago to now?
I feel much stronger. Like I said, this offseason with AQ, he had a plan every day. He is very knowledgeable about strength and conditioning, and it showed throughout the weight room, and I feel it on the field.
Obviously, you've immersed yourself in this job over the last year, but how many actual games have you played as a center?
I think I played in 4 last year. Yeah. 1 in the preseason, then 4 in the season at the end. And, each one was better, honestly. The first one was Miami, and I remember, coming off and, I forget, Blaine was saying, communicate more. And then the next one was a little better and a little better and a little better. And so, obviously, it wasn't as much as I would have loved to play, but noticing myself improving still makes a huge difference in how I feel going out there anytime. So, having said that, and feeling how I feel throughout this summer and the start of camp, I feel, like I said, prepared and ready.
One of your biggest fans on the line is Tristan Wirfs. We talked to him the other day.
Yeah.
He calls you Bobby. Can anybody call
That's
you
my
Bob?
guy.
Can anybody call you Bob, or is that just
Whatever you guys want. He calls me Bob. He likes it. I don't mind.
Anything else? A lot of changes at your alma mater the last 8 months or so. I was wondering if you had any impressions of that, and if any, if you've been able to talk to any former teammates about that at all.
Yeah. This spring, I went back up there with Tommy Kramer, who I played next to for 4 years or 3 years, and we were up there for a spring ball practice. Our old offensive line coach, Harry Heaston, was back there. So we were up there for about 3 days, got to see 2 practices, meet Coach Freeman and some of the other coaches, and Coach Freeman is an unbelievable guy. From the people I've talked to that I know, Coach Matt Bayless was our strength coach and still there, and that's a guy who I have the most ultimate respect for is Coach Bayless, and he tells me that Marcus Freeman's in there every day with the team working out. He cares, and that he's a true leader of men. So hearing that from Coach Bayless, I know that the Irish are in good hands, and I'm excited, really excited to see them and what they do this year.
Yeah, and with Harry being back there, was that a guy you got to work with early in your career? What was
Yeah.
how important was he early in development,
Yeah, he's the most influential person in football for me, 100%. he taught me so much coming in, not only in football, but in like how to be a man and how to grow up. You know, you come in as an 18-year-old. I was an early enrollee, and I was had to learn a lot of things. And the way, one thing he always says, you know, the standard is a standard. And it wasn't changing for anyone. So I was playing as a freshman, but that didn't mean I had a lower standard to play at than everyone else. He's a guy that came in every day and cared more about you sometimes than you thought you could about yourself, and cared about how you were as a football player more than you thought you could about yourself. He always felt like you could be better and you could get to that point, and he was going to be hard on you to get you there. But I think anyone who's played for him, and there's a lot of us in the NFL right now, I think anyone will tell you that he's our guy, and the influence he's had on us is second to none.
Last year you were in an understudy role, right, as you were learning that new position. And for you, are you almost in a way, I guess, maybe glad that you didn't have the pressure of having to step into a starting role last year as you transition? Because things happen so differently on the inside.
Yeah, it's definitely different, and it was an interesting transition moving from tackle to center. And I don't know, you know, I do think everything happens for a reason. I was here last year in a role that I never had before. I was never a backup, and I learned a lot about myself last year and how to continually grow and continually challenge myself when I wasn't playing on Sundays. So I think that it works out however it works out, and there's things you can and cannot control, and that was one thing that I couldn't control. All I could control was how I came out every day, prepared to improve and get better and help the team, and I thought I did everything I could to do that. So with the way things were last year, I don't really think I'd change anything. I think it worked. I think it led me to where I am now, and I feel, like I said, prepared, ready, comfortable, and in a good spot.